Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. We're going to look at key marking or stamping of the keys. Nowadays it's done with machine rather than the old stamp and hammer. Three different types. You've got your dot pen, your vibrating pen, and one that actually just scribes. Three different totally different machines that all do the same thing and both look quite neat and on the key. Silca make a good machine, about $14,000 worth. You interact with the computer and it prints different cradles and different things. We use the Pryor one, so it was a lot cheaper and you can do a lot more on it. The next one that is available, a lot of people might want to use, is a cheap Chinese one, around about $1,000, but does require you to have air pressure. Alright, let's get going into it. So what I want to show you here is a little trade secret. It's a machine that actually does the same thing as the Silca impact machine, impact marker, but it actually has a lot more functions and cost me a fraction of the price. Now this machine here, which is the head and the unit here, I got this for about $2,500 off, I think it was eBay, from the US. When I flicked it open, it had a little switch inside that allowed me to switch from 110 to 240, and after that it took the standard computer plug. So I bought that, and from there I was able to do a lot more things. I can do cylinders, I can do you know, basically anything I want. As for the Silca marker, only allows you to do one type of you know, basically just keys and cylinders, and you have to buy all these jigs and adapters, and all of it added up over $14,000. So for $2,000 I was able to do this, and the quality is identical. So just having a look at it now, you've got this unit here. It's just basically like a computer with a little LCD on the front. You've got this unit here, which is your marker. If we look down here, here's your marking head. This is just plastic, and here's an adjustment where we go up and we go down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it one-handed. I'm just going to turn this carriage up, turn it this way. So I have a lot of room on this. I can basically put anything of any size in here because it goes up a good 400, you know, 400 mil there. Now the actual cradles and things, yeah, I could have made them a lot nicer, but I just used a piece of plexiglass or perspex here, and I cut out my key shapes, and that was enough to be able to line me up. So it's a little bit barbaric, but it works really well. I use these little door trims here and just push them in, so when I change my different keys, and I just pop that one in there. I lower it down to probably about 2 mil, if you can see that there. Then I'll just turn the machine on, big red button. Now when I got it, the screen actually started to play up, so I got a new screen and swapped that out. That was a fun little job, but wasn't too much, cost me an extra $200. So I'll just walk you through the menus here because it's a little bit old-fashioned the way this type of works. Okay, so load layout, and then I go down to my my template that I've already saved. Then I've now loaded my template, go down to edit layout, and for this one we are NA 261, and then spacebar. Okay, so that's what I want on my key now. I'm just going to double check. Yep, it's correct. So now from here, from the screen here, this is the keyboard, and it's a little bit barbaric, so I'll go escape, which will bring me back to here. Then I just simply hold it, and I push this big green button. So I'll show you what happens when I push this big green button. Okay, now I pop my key out. I mean, I could make cradles just like Silca did, you know, where you load them in, a little clamp and all the rest, but there's no real need to. And if you can see that stamping right there, that looks probably the best. Now over time that will actually fill up with little bits of dirt, so the letters and things will be easier to read. And that's actually a whole heap of little tiny dots, if you can see them there, making up those letters. And for $2,500 it was a lot better than $14,000. And every time I change different key, I can just get myself another piece of perspex just like this, and then I can load them in that way. I can even do cylinders on it as well. Believe it or not, that big piece of wood is how I do it. I put my cylinders in there, 1, 2 and 3. These screws on the back allow me to line up to my holes. I load them in, and you can see just there I've started to mark that one. Then I can write things on the actual plugs as well. So that was just a little trade secret on the Pryor impact marking machine. There it is there. They're not cheap brand new, but they're worth every cent, and you can stamp anything, even round surfaces, large surfaces. You just make yourself up a cradle. The actual layout in it isn't too bad as well. If I go to load layout, I can actually make a layout, save a layout. Let's just go load layout, and from here I've got 3 plugs, and then let's just go to edit. So for that one there, I've just brought up here, I have measured it off this piece of wood. So when I put this piece of wood in, when I select that layout, they all come out perfectly. So I go edit layout. So there's what you're actually looking at. And then if you go across here, you just keep pushing side thing, that's your actual specs. So we've got here our size, 2, 1.5, and all the way down. So each one reflects each line. Then we've got our X position and our Y position. So if something's not right, you can pretty much just adjust these to get it the pointer where it is. And you know, that's where it starts from. Line 2 would probably be, if this was a 2, probably be a 3, and then it would be a 6, then a 9, and you'd probably be starting off on the Y position the same, you know, starting off on your left hand side. So it just goes to show you that it's quite easy to actually plot. Maybe, you know, we use a little bit of cardboard there, and until you find it, you know, it's right, then you transfer it over, cut yourself up a template. A hand file and a bit of Perspex works nicely. You can make them out of steel if you want, and then you could also make the cradle so they actually hold the keys. With this one here that we've just done the cutouts, and then we just put a finger on it, and cut 4 at a, I can stamp 4 at a time, and that's a big advantage compared, well actually I could probably even do 10 at a time if I wanted to plot it and also cut out a template like this. So I could actually do 10 at a time, which is a lot quicker than the Silca at $14,000. So that's just a bit of an idea if you're looking for a way to stamp your security keys, and you don't want to spend the big bucks. I mean, I love Silca, but sometimes it's just not practical, especially if you don't have massive amount of systems. Already you've got a code machine you've got to pay off to cut the keys, and then after that you've got to stamp them. Then you've got to have everything else like the master key program, and then the plugs, and then the keys, so it starts adding up. So that's my little trade secret for the week. Pryor marking technology, much more economical and works just as good.